Truckers are pleading with the Trump administration for more testing in order to curb the spread of coronavirus. So what's at risk? Nothing less than the collapse of the nation's supply chain. Frank Holland has the president and CEO of the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association, Todd Spencer. Frank, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. I really appreciate it. Todd, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here tonight.
I'm glad to be part of the show, Frank.
Well, first thing, we want to talk about these letters that you've written to the president and to Congress. What's the message that you're trying to send to our nation's leaders about trucking and our national supply chain?
One of the things that's become really, really clear about dealing with the pandemic as we are is how much we depend on trucks for timely delivery of virtually everything in our lives, including the food and emergency supplies and things like that. And our members and truckers overall are more in demand now than ever. And, and while that's both a blessing and a curse in that they're service-oriented people, but having said that, they're going to have a much greater likelihood of being exposed to the coronavirus, and they have few options when things like that happen.
Well, Todd, speaking of that, availability of testing has been a national issue. Do you think that truckers need to be among the first people tested and when tests become more available? And will COVID-19 fears keep people off the road?
Well, keeping non-commercial vehicles off the road is certainly a blessing for these folks. But again, they'll go into all of the places where they have a greater likelihood of being exposed. And of course, the anxiety is what can really, really tear you up. And, they live pretty much in their trucks all the time. They struggle to find safe places to park. There aren't nearly enough truck stops, and there certainly are nowhere near enough parking places for them right now and rest areas. And, certainly some are going to they're going to be exposed, and some are going to come down and they're going to have the symptoms. And we'd like some kind of access where a driver can be tested with the results back in a timely fashion. Results that come 3-4 days later simply are of no practical use for people who spend their lives on the road.
Todd, we only have a little bit of time left. You mentioned that the demand right now is a blessing and a curse. How long do you see this demand lasting, and how long can our truckers and our grocery supply chain continue to meet these surges in demand?
Well, the truckers that provide the relief supplies and that take care of the groceries, they're going to always be there. Now, we fully expect to see a drop-off in other areas of trucking simply because of what's going on in the overall economy. But at the same time, trucking is a brutally competitive business, and while the demand for much of the stuff that our folks bring has never been greater, oftentimes the revenue that they're being offered right now to bring it isn't enough to offset their cost, or for that matter, their increased risk financially and actually to being exposed to being ill.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. We're going to have to leave it there. Todd Spencer, the president and CEO of the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association.